The movie kicks off in the weirdest way possible. The director of education walks into class for the very first time, and instead of a normal teacher intro, she sticks her nose dirt right onto a student's desk. Yeah, you heard that right. Then she quietly gives the desk a little gas, and boom, she instantly squashes a fly without breaking a sweat. One of the students sees this bizarre move and runs to tell his classmates. But of course nobody buys his story. They think he's just exaggerating. But the truth only starts sinking in when the director of education sits down, opens up a tiffin box, and reveals it's full of radishes. Right there, in the middle of the classroom, she begins eating them like it's no big deal. At first, it just looks like a quirky snack choice. But then her stomach starts rumbling like thunder. She tries so hard to act normal, pretending everything's fine. The director thinks she can slowly let it out, while answering students' questions, hoping nobody notices. But man, she completely overestimates herself. Once the gas is out, there's no stopping it. But they were all still underestimating the director's full power. She suddenly tightens her chest, pulls her stomach in, and unleashes a chemical weapon way beyond their imagination. From that moment, word spreads around the whole school. Zhao Ziran, the director of education, is no ordinary woman. She's basically a peasant heir, armed with an unstoppable biological weapon. But instead of being embarrassed, the principal plays it off, saying her gas is actually helpful for studying. See? It makes the study environment stronger. Even the books smell deeper now. Totally wild. Then the scene shifts to Shimiana, the class teacher. She's got a serious face and a terrifying aura that makes all the students shiver. Right now, she's furious because a few kids snuck out to an internet cafe behind her back. And among those kids is our main character, Wang Qiangan. He's playful, mischievous, always cracking jokes and stirring trouble in class. He's the kind of guy who thinks he's way smarter than everyone else. But the second he gets caught at the cafe, his cocky attitude disappears. He's begging, "Teacher, save me, I won't go again." He ends up dragging himself back to class, sulking, while his hidden stash of game cards gets completely confiscated by Shimiana. To make things worse, the class monitor hands him a teacher evaluation form. That's when Wang Qi decides to get petty. He gathers his buddies and convinces them all to give the teacher 0 points on the form. Relax, it's just a formality. The principal doesn't even look at these things. But this prank almost destroys Shimiana's career, and on top of that, it nearly gets Wang Qi seriously hurt. Furious over losing his game card, Wang sneaks into the school's storeroom, determined to get it back. Sure enough, his precious card, bought with his own money, is lying right there on the table. Just when he's about to celebrate, Shimiana appears behind him, silent as a ghost. Wang panics, grabs the card, and bolts upstairs. The teacher chases him, not planning to give up until she takes it back. And then something completely unexpected happens. A dusty old clock in the storeroom suddenly starts glowing. The pendulum swings left and right, the bells echo through the room, and both Wang and Shimiana's bodies convulse like they're being zapped. The next second, their souls shoot out of their bodies and swap places. Wang is the first to figure it out. Thanks to all those movies he watched at the internet cafe, he knows exactly what's happening. "Teacher, our bodies just swapped." This is that classic movie thing. But Shimiana isn't having it. She's got a meeting to attend, and there's no way she can show up looking like a student. Wang, meanwhile, doesn't want to get marked absent in class. After some quick back and forth, they decide to live in each other's bodies just for the day and figure out the switch later. Before leaving, Shimiana warns Wang, "If the principal asks you to give a public lecture in the meeting, absolutely refuse. Say you're sick, dodge the question, and write everything else down in this notebook." With that, Shimiana, now in Wang's body, heads back to class, while Wang, in Shimiana's body, nervously walks into the teacher's meeting. But there's one big problem. No matter whose body they're in, their personalities don't change. Wang is still his laid-back, distracted self, and Shimiana is still serious and strict. So when Wang sits down at the meeting, he doesn't even realize he's accidentally taken the principal's seat. The meeting is so boring he starts dozing off again and again. Worse, when it's time for the dreaded public class discussion, he completely forgets Shimiana's instructions. Meanwhile, Shimiana, stuck in Wang's body, is dealing with his own nightmare. She forgets that he's supposed to act like a student and ends up arguing with another teacher who came late. Things spiral out of control until Wang finally shows up after the meeting to smooth it over. But Shimiana isn't happy at all. She checks the notebook and sees that Wang didn't write down a single thing. Furious, she scolds him, but Wang snaps back. To get revenge, Wang uses Shimiana's body to sign up for a single PT class for the students. Shimiana tries to stop it, but the kids tie him to a basketball pole. Realizing he's completely lost control, Shimiana changes tactics and decides to embarrass Wang instead. What follows is pure chaos, strange games, weird drills, and the whole class looking like they're trapped in the world's weirdest PT session. Both sides realize this battle is going nowhere and agree to call a truce. But time is running out. Shimiana's big public class is about to start, the one that could make or break her career. She reminds Wang that since he already agreed to the principal, he can't back out now. So he hands over her lecture notes to Wang and says, "If we don't swap back before the open class, you'll have to handle it yourself." Problem is, Wang is the last person you'd ever want leading a serious lecture. He's the kind of student who barely understands his textbooks, let alone teaching them. So instead of stressing about it, Wang completely gives up on the idea. He grabs a bunch of classmates and drags them to the school warehouse, calling it outdoor activities. They end up goofing around there for the entire afternoon until the bell rings. Since all the kids live in the hostel, they split up afterward. Shimiana, stuck in Wang's body, heads back to the boys' hostel with Wang's crew. Wang, on the other hand, struts into the girls' hostel with high expectations, ready for some dreamy fun. Now, the boys' hostel isn't the paradise Shimiana imagined. It's absolute chaos. She's shocked, blurting out, "Why is this place so messy? Why do the beds vanish?" But the boys fire back, saying the bed was just broken last week, acting like the dirt and spider webs are totally normal. Shimiana, inside Wang's body, grabs a broom and tries to clean up, horrified by the living conditions. But the boys are so used to it, they don't care. One of them even plucks mushrooms growing off a mop and tosses them into her food like it's nothing. Things get even worse when Shimiana, still in Wang's body, tries to stop them. She stumbles right into a burst of fire, and within moments her thick hair gets scorched off. She's left completely bald. Forced to shave off the few strands left, she's devastated. Meanwhile, Wang has his own nightmare. He gets a bed in the girls' dorm, but their snoring is so loud it sounds like a thunderstorm. Just when he's about to lose it, his face twists in frustration, and suddenly, their souls switch back again. When Wang Chang stumbled into the bathroom and washed the foam off his head, he froze. His forehead was gleaming like a spotlight. He freaked out so hard he straight up fainted on the spot. When he came to, it was already the next morning. The next morning, Wang wakes up, scrubbing his bald head in shock, and faints at the sight of his shiny scalp. But before he could even begin processing the trauma of losing all his hair, his body started twitching uncontrollably, and, yep, you guessed it, their souls swapped again. And Wang lands in front of the principal, who gives him a brutal task. He must handle a public class. Wang, hiding under Shimiana's identity, blurts out that it should be his own class that takes the open lesson. The principal doesn't like that class at all, but seeing Wang's determination, he reluctantly agrees. Shimiana, though nervous, doesn't scold him. Deep down, she also wanted to drag fast students into the open class anyway. From there, something surprising happens. Wang, who used to prank teachers non-stop, suddenly changes gears. With Shimiana guiding him, he memorizes the lesson plan word for word. He starts teaching classmates seriously, and in the process, he finally realizes how tough being a teacher really is. Shimiana's heart softens too. She even buys ice cream for the kids sometime. Things finally seem to be on track. They're confident, ready for the open class. But the night before the big day, trouble arrives. Students from the fast class storm into the hostel to pick a fight. What they don't know is that Wang's body is currently being driven by Shimiana's spirit, and she hasn't taught her own students in ages. She seizes the moment, venting her bottled-up anger. Wang, hearing about the chaos, sprints to the boys' hostel as fast as he can. The moment they meet, their souls snap back to their original bodies. The principal shows up immediately, sending all the students back to their hostels. But instead of fixing things, he tears into Shimiana. He calls her class a garbage dump and insists her students will never succeed. Shimiana tries to defend herself, but the principal doesn't listen. He pulls out the teacher evaluation forms and shows her how many students gave her 0 points. Then he drops the ultimatum. Either her class joins the fast class for the open lesson, or her chance of being selected as excellent teacher will be cancelled. Crushed, Shimiana stands outside the hostel, holding the evaluation sheet in her hand. She doesn't even show up to class the next day, her spirit broken. That's when Wang realizes how badly he messed up. His childish pranks and petty revenge had actually hurt her deeply. Determined to make it right, he comes up with a bold plan. He's noticed that the soul swapping always happens around noon, so if he can get to the classroom before 12 o'clock, Shimiana will take over his body just in time for the public class. To stall until then, he disguises himself. He smears chalk powder on his face, draws eyeliner out of chalk, puts on a teacher's uniform and high heels, adds a fake mole, and walks into the venue dressed as Shimiana. But when the clock strikes noon, nothing happens. The souls don't swap. Stuck in disguise, Wang has no choice but to start teaching. He fumbles nervously, and the examiners immediately notice something's off. His awkwardness and fake teacher energy don't go unnoticed. Soon, his disguise falls apart completely. Everyone realizes he's been dressing up as a woman to cover for Shimiana. Even then, Wang doesn't give up. He's convinced Shimiana won't abandon her students or let this chance slip away. But the reviewers lose patience, ready to leave the room. Just then, the lights cut out. The conference hall doors creak open, and Shimiana finally walks in like a beacon. She grabs the mic with total confidence and finishes the soul swap with Wang in the real world. She faces the students and says, "I used to think you were the worst batch of my career, but now I realize I was the worst teacher you ever had. Thank you, students, for preparing such a good class for me." With that, the open class officially begins. But instead of following the old lesson plan, Shimiana ditches it. She speaks from the heart, saying teaching isn't just about passing on textbook knowledge. It's about understanding students' minds, their struggles, their lives. She mixes in lessons from her bizarre soul-swapping experience, making her words relatable, real, and unforgettable. For the first time, her students feel truly seen and understood. That's how the amazing movie ends here. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tales like this. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to read what you think about this story. Until next time, stay curious, stay creative, and I'll see you in the next one.